Hey there, thank you so much for stopping by to check out today's video where we're going to talk about how to set up a super lightweight and easy to manage server monitoring solution called Beszel. Anyway, I think it's called Beszel. It's spelled strangely. I'm just going to call it Beszel. In this video, we're going to take a look at my dashboard that I've currently got set up for testing purposes. We'll take a look at how easy it is to install agents on other systems to monitor those. And then we'll take a look at how easy it is to actually get the Beszel hub or kind of a main dashboard area set up. Super easy stuff. But before we get into that, we've got a couple of bills to pay. So here's a quick message from today's video sponsor. This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. Now, the last chair that I had here in the studio was fine, but it was pretty firm and it didn't breathe well. Luckily, the folks at FlexiSpot sent me the mesh version of the C7 chair. And this chair breathes like no other chair that I've ever had. And it really is one of the more comfortable chairs that I've ever sat in. Also, the C7 is adjustable in so many ways. For instance, the headrest moves easily and stays exactly where you put it. Also, the C7 has what FlexiSpot calls 4D adjustable armrests that move in multiple directions to help you find just the right placement. One of my favorite features is the adjustable lumbar support. You can either set it where you want or let it adjust with you as you move. But my favorite thing is to lock it in the forward position and then recline to get a little extra lumbar stretch from time to time. And the seat itself moves too. It can tilt forward while you're sitting in your favorite position, and it's wide enough to allow you to even sit with your legs crossed. Now, I got the white frame with the black mesh, but if that's not for you, there are other colors and materials available so that you can get the setup that best works for you. Not only is the chair comfortable, but it's designed with all body sizes in mind, whether you're 5'4" or 6'2", or anywhere in between, and it supports up to 300 pounds. And if you're not satisfied with the chair for any reason, they've got a 30-day return policy as well as a 10-year warranty. Now, this chair is great for sitting for long periods of time, whether you're a freelancer, an IT specialist, or a content creator like me. So if you'd like to pick up a C7 from FlexiSpot for yourself, be sure to check out the video description where you'll find a link and a coupon code to save yourself a little cash along the way. Again, thank you so much to FlexiSpot for sponsoring today's video. So just real quickly, here we are on the Beszel. Again, I'm calling it that. I don't know if that's what it's actually called. I'm going to go with Beszel here. This is their GitHub repository. The reason I wanted to start here is so that you can see that this is being actively maintained. This is a very much up-to-date, possibly still in progress application system, updated 2 weeks ago, yesterday, 16 hours ago, this is very much being actively developed, and that's why I've got a lot of faith that they're going to keep working on this, especially if you guys enjoy this and go over and give them a star. I'm not signed in. I should be signed in, but give them a star, set up notifications, whatever, just to let them know that you're interested in this project. And hopefully by the end of this video, you definitely will be. So just taking a quick look here at their GitHub repository, you can go through and you can look through their source code if you want to do that. Here they've got, like it says, a lightweight server resource monitoring hub with historical data, Docker stats, and alerts. They've got a little screenshot here we can take a look at. This is like the left side of this is kind of your home page. And then when you open up one of these, just by clicking on it, then you'll start seeing data more like this over here on the right side of the page. So I really dig what they're doing here. Really enjoy it. Again, links to everything, as always, will be in the video description. Let's jump back over to their dashboard. Here it says, for features, it's lightweight. They've got Docker stats, alerts, multi-users, simple. It really is super. I was blown away by how simple this was to set up. They've got OAuth integration, and you can actually disable local authentication, so you can require third-party authentication if you want to do that. Automatic backups. They've got a REST API. And then, of course, we get into the actual getting started, the introduction, that sort of thing. But I think with that said, what we want to do here is actually go take a look at kind of the simple dashboard I've currently got set up. This is definitely not what mine will look like in the end, but I just want to show you what I've got set up for the sake of demonstrative purposes here. So this is my Beszel dashboard, and it says all systems here, updated in real time. Press Command K or Windows K or something to open the command palette. You can filter right here. We've got systems, we've got CPU usage, memory usage, and disk usage. And of course, over here, we can add systems if we want to do that. If we take a look at my agent test, like I deliberately just set up a Proxmox LXC to install this for the first time just to see how easy it was. And there's really nothing interesting going on in here. Again, we've got our logo up at the top. We've got the name of the system that's on, whether or not it's up, the IP address of that system, how long it's been up, and the CPU that is on that system. Below that, we've got total CPU usage, Docker CPU usage. I love that it breaks those apart the way it has. And we can actually switch this out to 1 hour, 12 hours, 24 hours a week, or 30 days. And of course, we can keep scrolling down to see total memory usage, Docker memory usage again, split out, and I absolutely love that. Disk usage, disk I/O, and bandwidth. So that's what you're going to get as far as your dashboards are concerned. And I know that none of this that we're seeing here is real exciting. So let's actually go back a page and let's take a look. I've installed this on my Plex server that I've got in my HL15 behind me. So if I open this up, and again, this isn't all that interesting, but if I come back to say 24 hours, hey, look, you can actually see while or when I was watching Plex last night. It's kind of we watch Plex overnight just because there's so much noise in our neighborhood, and our kid makes a lot of noise at night even while he's asleep. So we usually just throw on, whatever our favorite show of the moment is, and we watch that from time we go to bed until our TV automatically shuts off at about 8 o'clock in the morning, thanks to Home Assistant. So again, we can see that, it's Plex, it's up. There's our Plex IP address up for 8 days. That's because that's how long I've had Beszel set up. And then, of course, the virtual CPU that I've got passed through from Proxmox into my Plex VM. We can see, we can see all of our CPU usage, Docker usage, Docker CPU usage, total memory usage. This includes caching and all of that sort of things as well. In fact, most of that is caching and buffering of nearly 30 gigs. And then, of course, down here, we've got Docker memory usage. Apparently, it was transcoding something pretty hard right there. We can scroll down a little farther. Total disk usage, total disk I/O for both read and write, and then bandwidth, send and receive. And again, we can really break this out. And here we can see like when I've been watching TV in my bedroom. But all of that is available here, and it's so easy to set up. So let's actually take a look at how easy it is to get Beszel set up in Docker. Okay, I lied. I got ahead of myself. I apologize. What I want to show you first is how easy it is to set up a Beszel agent. So we're back here on the homepage of my Beszel dashboard here. What I want to do is come over here and click where it says Add System. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to put this on my LubeTut LXC container. So I'm going to call it LubeTut. The host and IP, I don't know. Let's actually go find that out. I've got it right here. I'm going to get logged in. Right, and so my IP, oh, you know what? I can't put it on that one. Darn it. You know what? This is going to be an upcoming video. Let's put it on my speed instead. Do IPA. It's going to be 157. So I'm going to copy this and change something here. Copy, right? And I'm going to call this my speed. Again, that video is coming up, so definitely get subscribed if you want to check that out. So now that we've got all of this, we can actually click Copy Docker Compose, and then we can just come up here and click Copy. I've never actually seen this little pop-up window like this before, but it is what it is. So I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to come back over to here. I'm going to do an ls just to see what's going on. Cool. I'm going to do just a nano docker compose.yml and paste that in there just like so. Now, let's actually take a look. This is the Docker Compose for the agent, right? So our service is the Beszel agent. The image is the Beszel agent. The container name is Beszel agent. Restart unless stopped, which is great. The network mode is host so that it can track the actual network traffic across that device. That needs to be host. The volumes, we're just connecting to the Docker socket. That's it for the volumes. Our environment is going to be port 45876. It has generated this SSH key hash for us. And then we've got a file system here. Now, in order for this to work, we actually have to uncomment this if we want to see what our file systems, our hard drives are doing, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to save this, and I'm going to exit. I'm going to clear my screen, and then I'm going to do an LSBLK just so that I can see what drives I have available. This is actually on the system itself, on the actual host system itself. So we've got SDA we've got SDA and SDB. I've never actually tried doing two different hard drives, but just know that it is going to be dev/SDA or dev/SDB. Oops. So I'm going to do nano docker compose again. Oops, darn it, cancel. Let's do that. Man, I wonder, I don't know how I can do multiple. I've never actually done this. We're gonna do it together. File system. It doesn't say anything about doing multiple file systems here. It just says file system key and port. It just says file system / partition to use for disk IO stats. It doesn't give me any plural version of that. Okay, we're just going to do one for right now, but if you guys decide to try two and it works or it doesn't work, let me know in the comment section down below. I think that would be a kind of a cool back and forth that we could do here. So basically, I'm just going to do Control O and Enter and Control X. I'm going to clear my screen again and do docker compose up-d. We're going to give this a second to pull, and now it's up and running, literally any second now. There it goes. So now I can close this. Let's refresh. Why didn't it work? It might take it a minute. We're going to give it a second to think about it. And then once it's come back up, we'll take a look. And if it doesn't come up and I have to do something, I'll tell you about that too. So that was my bad. I clicked close instead of add system. So just that quickly and easily it popped back up. I'm just having a moment, you know? So here we can see my speed, CPU usage, memory usage, disk usage. And of course we've got alerts, that sort of thing. And now that I'm glad I did that too. So let's open this up. Now look, this was just installed, so there's not going to be any data here. So yeah, it kind of is what it is. Maybe that 8 days is when we had our last power outage. Maybe that's why that says 8 days across all of them. So yeah, that's kind of what is going on there. That's how easy it is to install an agent. It's just dead simple, and I absolutely love it. Before we actually get into installing Beszel at the hub level, the kind of the host level, I guess, let's take a look at one more thing here in the dashboard. If we come up to the top right, we can change to light, dark system. Oh, hey, look, that popped up. Light, dark, or system. I always prefer dark mode, but you can change that to your specifications, your preferences, that sort of thing. We can click here and go to the GitHub repository. Love that. And then if we click right here, we've got users, system, logs, backups, auth providers, and log out. So let's click users. And this is going to be the same email address and password that you set up during installation. We'll get to that here in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and get logged in and we'll take a look. Okay, so now that I'm logged in, of course, we're looking at users. That's what I clicked on. And I've just got the one user right here. But if I wanted to, I could add a new user just as easily as putting in an ID, username, email address. Or you can leave that empty and it will generate automatically. That's cool too. Password confirm. Do you want to make sure they're verified? Yes or no? What role do you want them to have? Maybe you want them to just be a user or an admin or only be able to see records. You can adjust all of that and you can upload a new avatar file for them and then click create. Super easy to create users. Do you really want to close the panel? Yes, I do. Then we've got alerts. There are currently no alerts in here, but you can create one if you need to. You can also come up here and do the same thing. Let's see, there's an API preview, so you can take a look at what it would look like to create an alert for yourself, whether that's on this system or a different system, whatever the case is. Container stats. So basically, we've got our ID, our system, our stats, our type, when it was created, when it was updated. Now, what I dig about this is effectively the JSON data that renders these individual graphs. So if you wanted to get in and dig around in the JSON data, you can absolutely do that. Same thing under system stats. We've got our ID, our system, our stats. Again, all of that same information. But again, we've got basically this JSON data that allows us to go in and take a look at that if we ever wanted to look at it in the code level versus in a graph. Systems, again, same thing. ID, name, status, host, port, info. Again with that JSON data, the users attached to it, created, updated, all of that is there. Our logs, we can take a look at logs in here. So you can get an idea of what's really going on at any given moment, even so far as, like logging in and that sort of stuff. All of the logs are available here in this nice clean dashboard. And then we've got settings. And look, and I should also mention there are also additional settings in here that you can change, for how long do you want to keep logs, that sort of stuff. And I think all of these screens have something, maybe not, but you can go in and manipulate how long you want to keep logs, that sort of thing. Settings, application, you can change the name. You can change the application URL, which may be super handy if you wanted to have this set up on a reverse proxy. You could change this to actually be a full URL so that things load more better. Next, we've got mail settings. So you can, you might set this up as, like Beszel dashboard or something, and then send your address. You can actually have default verification email templates, password reset templates, and you can come in and customize all of these. And I love that. And then, of course, confirm email change template. And then you can set up an SMTP server right here. Super, super easy. And then more options if you need to do that as well. So really digging that. Next, we've got file storage. By default, it uses local file systems, but you can also use S3 if you wanted to do that. Backups, there are no backups currently, but you can upload a backup. So maybe you want to restore something. You can set up auto backups and say how often do you want to run backups. Every day at midnight, every Sunday at midnight, every Monday and Wednesday at midnight. And of course, these are just preset sample ideas. How many backups do you want to keep? And do you want to store them in S3? I mentioned earlier, auth providers, you can change that over here. If you do this, you may also want to disable local auth. You can do that in the Docker Compose to deploy this. But lots of different third-party OAuth providers to use if you wanted to go that route. We've got token options with all of their expirations and that sort of thing. And then admins, if you wanted to create a new admin, you could do that from the admin panel as well. So that is, I think, everything for the actual Beszel HUb. That's kind of the main dashboard area. Hopefully we've gone through everything there. Down in the bottom left of that area, you can also go to manage admins and log out. But I think that pretty much covers everything in the Beszel dashboard and installing an agent. We took a look at both of those things. So with that said, let's take a look at how easy it actually is to get the Beszel HUb installed. Okay, so to get Beszel installed is actually super easy, surprisingly easy, if I'm being completely honest here. We're going to go back to their GitHub repository here. We're going to scroll down, and there's a few different. Go look through their GitHub. I highly encourage that. They do a really good job of explaining so many things. You can go through here and you can look, but really the easiest thing for the hub is to see the example Docker compose.yml file right here. So we're going to pop that open in a new tab, and there it is. I'm actually going to zoom in so you can see that. Service is Beszel, image, Beszel, container name, Beszel, restart unless stopped, port 8090. Of course, if you need to change that, you can change just the left half of this over here. Don't ever change anything after the colon. That's on the inside of the container. That's what the container is looking for. But you can absolutely change the first 8090 that's right there. And then your volumes, wherever you want to map that, perfectly acceptable. So let's just click copy a raw file. Let's come back over to here to this. You know what, let's just do it here. This is something I was testing out the other day, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because it's not where I want it to be yet before I actually take a look at it. So I'm going to do an IPA. We're on 160. 122. And cool, so we're just going to install this using Portainer. I know some people like to do it in command line, and that's perfectly acceptable. However, if you know how to do things in command line, you can extrapolate from here. I have faith in you. What we're going to do is we're going to open this up. We're going to come over to stacks here in Portainer, and then I'm going to create a new stack, this button right over here in the top right. And I'm just going to paste this in. I'm going to give it a name like so. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do like home Docker Beszel like so. And that should be good. And just for demonstrative purposes here, I'm going to change this to 8999, just so we can see how easy it is to change the port of a Docker container. Then I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and click deploy. We're going to give this just a moment to do its thing. It really was that fast. There was no edit there. We're going to open up Beszel. We're going to open up the port right here. Hopefully, yeah, that should work. We're going to click continue. And it's like, hey, let's create your first admin account. So let's do that. Or you can auth with GitHub by default. I haven't tried that. It might work. I don't know if you need to like put in an API key or something in your Docker Compose, but I like to do things locally, just at least for the first account, to avoid any kind of hiccups, that sort of thing. So I'm going to click on create, and there we go. That's how easy it is to get Beszel HUb installed. And again, we can click on add dashboard, or sorry, add system. We can do test. We can put in the IP address of the system we want to install on, leave the port as it is. We've got our public key all right there, or we can just click copy this just like we did earlier in this video and start deploying our systems. And then once we've done all of that, then we can click on add system. If you click on the X, it won't work, as we found out together. So deploy that Beszel agent on the other system you want to monitor, or other systems you want to monitor. Do it one at a time, though, just because. And then click Add System. And it's really just that easy to start monitoring the resource usage on multiple systems from a single dashboard. This very much gives me like Grafana vibes, but so much easier to install than Grafana ever thought about being. So, and look, that's not a dig at Grafana. That's a great platform. This is just so much easier to do. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, it would really mean a lot to me if you gave the video a thumbs up and maybe considered subscribing for more content like this. Again, links to everything will be in the video description if you want to check that out. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can become a patron for really as little as $1 a month and get ad-free access to all of my content when it's available. You can also become a channel member if you want. I like Patreon better than I do channel memberships, if I'm being completely honest, but it's your call and none of it is obligatory. So thank you again for spending a few minutes of your day with me today, and I'll talk to you in the next video.